Get into Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville.
Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. We've got the power buys, including a 2022 Chevrolet work truck. That's the long bed, record cab, two-wheel drive V8 engine. These trucks range anywhere from 8,000 miles up to 15,000 miles. How much? $23,988. $23,988. Huge selection. Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. Come see us today. Right on Gaither Road. Look for the spinning car, folks, because that is where the deals are.
King of Price. RandyMarionStatesville.com.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head through the rest of the evening, we will have clear skies. That overnight low is going to be freezing tonight. We will be down around 18 degrees. Heading into Wednesday, we'll have sunny skies and a high temperature getting up near 46 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I hope everyone's ready. We have a good one in store for you here today. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Video to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com. And you can call in 704-873-1400. We have a lot to talk about today. We actually have some NBA in-season tournament clinching scenarios to go over with today. Oh, exciting. And as always, high school sports. And today, there was media for the Carolina Panthers. David Tepper got up to the microphone and talked about the season and the decision to fire Frank Reich, as well as later, if we have time, some NHL news, a player being released from their team. It's weird in the NHL, you can't really just drop a player like you can in the NFL. You have to go through a whole process where you designate a player for contract termination and everybody gets a chance to sign him. It's a whole thing, but we will go over that if we have time because it is a developing story. We don't really know what's going on, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, let's talk about the high school scene as we always do in the first segment of the show. Tomorrow, there is an important event for NCHSAA, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Starting tomorrow is the winter meetings for the board of directors. Some things on the agenda there. I don't know if there's going to be any real changes in the way things operate this year. It seems like, aside from a few incidents with fans, especially here locally during the football season, it seems like everything went pretty smooth this year. So we'll see what comes out of that. But there is winter meetings going on tomorrow and Thursday. So if there's anything important that comes from that, we'll make sure to bring it right here to you on the Scoreboard. But as far as games go, we do have some high school basketball games tonight. Yep, we are in basketball season, ladies and gentlemen. Football is winding down and everybody's going to be playing their basketball games here soon. Starting off closer to the Lake Norman area, Mooresville High School, they have a game at home today against Northwest Cabarrus. They've started the year 2-2, looking to stay on the positive side of 500 early in the season. Also, Lake Norman High School has a game today. They take on Mount Tabor. Both of those games for Mooresville and Lake Norman at home. Mooresville starting at 7 o'clock. Lake Norman starting at 7:30. And Lake Norman starting the year 4-0. Hot start to their season, looking to keep it going today. And then closer to the Studio A location, closer to right where I am here in Statesville, we have number one, the South Iredell Vikings playing a game tonight. They're on the road. Their game starts at 8 o'clock, and it's at Bandy's High School. Right now, South Iredell, only one game played. They are 0-1. They lost to North Iredell to open up their season. So it's nice for them to finally get their second game of the year in. Kind of like what's going on with Statesville High School right now. They have a slow start to their season. Not many games to start out with. And Statesville High School doesn't even play this week. So they still have a long time to wait before their next game. Moving on from South Iredell, we have North Iredell. Their game is tonight also. They will also be on the road starting at 7:30 against West Rowan. 500 to start the year right now, 1-1. So as other teams looking to stay on the positive side of 500 early in the season. I preach it every single time we start a season, whether it's high school, whether it's college, whether it's professional sports, you have to have a strong start to the season. Come out of the gates firing. That way there is a little bit of wiggle room for a lull at some point in the season. And the basketball season's a long one. It runs through mid-February, a few games a week. So you want to get off to that hot start. And for North Iredell, they're looking to continue to win. They lost their last game against Alexander Central, but they put up a pretty decent fight. So right now taking on West Rowan on the road before they come home for a couple of games during the season. So moving on to West Iredell High School. They have a game today also on the road. So everybody in the Statesville area or northern Iredell area, because we're not talking about the Lake Norman area teams anymore. They are all on the road. And for West Iredell, they are heading to Wilkes Central. That game's at 8:30, so a late tip-off in that one. And then just like the other teams in the area here for Iredell Statesville schools at least, coming back home for a 3-game set starting later this week, going into next week. Versus South Iredell at home. They got Elkin at home, and then Wilkes Central at home. So there we go. There is your high school basketball scene right now. Statesville High School, I know we'll get to them. They don't have another. Their next game is December 8th. That's a long time to wait in between games, I'll tell you what, especially after Turkey Day. Whew. They're going to have to basically restart the season. That's a 2-week wait, more than that. So we'll continue to update on the high school basketball scene. Tomorrow we'll have all those results for you and look forward to the next part of the schedule. And as I've mentioned on Friday, we do have regional action starting, the Final Four, if you will, in high school football. Independence High School is the one to keep an eye on in the 4A bracket. They're a 23 seed, and they have made it to the Final Four. An incredible run this year for Independence. And I don't think anybody saw it coming from a 23 seed. No other bracket has anybody more than an 11 seed in the Final Four. So we'll see how that wraps up. Obviously, we won't be able to talk about that until next week, but we will continue to preview it. And as far as the high school basketball goes, get out there, support your local teams. And if you have a player or a team or a school or a coach, anyone you'd like to shout out and say, hey, I saw you had a good game, good job, good win, give me a call, 704-873-1400. We'll make sure to give as much love to as many people as we can. There's a lot of schools in the area. We want to make sure we spread the love around. Well, we are already at our first break of the day. Oh boy, was that a quick segment. When we come back, we will be touching on the Carolina Panthers. We heard some words, if you will, from our owner, David Tepper, earlier today, as media was not allowed yesterday, but today they did have media availability. So we will talk a little bit about what we heard coming out of that press conference, as well as looking forward for the Panthers, where they go from here, the coaching staff changes, and looking forward to, well, we got a Thursday night game coming up, so maybe we will have some time to talk about that one too. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Scoreboard right here on WSIC. We're back after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The Docksiders performing at Kane Center for the Arts on
Hello?
at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Community singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius. Each evening at a different church. Community singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The community singers of Lake Norman, lakenormansings.com. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Enjoy some time with Santa and the Winter Wonderland experience. A classic Christmas in Mooresville, Friday, December 8th. For more info, visit mooresvillenc150.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head through the rest of the evening, we will have clear skies. That overnight low is going to be freezing tonight. We will be down around 18 degrees. Heading into Wednesday, we'll have sunny skies and a high temperature getting up near 46 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Hi folks, Pat Shannon inviting you to join me for the Home Ad Show. We help you sell things, buy things, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and have a lot of fun in the process. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11, here on News Talk WSIC.
Now, more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We are back here, segment number 2. This is Scoreboard WSIC. Oh, we just talked about the high school scene. Some basketball games going on tonight. Speaking of basketball, I've been trying to read through this in-season tournament tiebreaker policy and who's where and who's got what going on, and oh man, my head hurts. Somehow, someway, the Hornets are not eliminated. Very unlikely that they'll move into the knockout stage, but we will talk about that a little bit later on in the show, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. For now, we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers because David Tepper got behind a microphone today and said nothing of real significance. I will give him credit. He said all the correct things, you know, the normal stuff, got to get better. We're committed to Bryce Young. I know the fans aren't happy. I'm not happy. But we go back-to-back years now of firing a coach in the middle of the season. Hasn't happened in a while. By the way, head coach Frank Reich, former head coach Frank Reich. We can't give him a position that he doesn't have anymore. But former head coach Frank Reich, the first ever head football coach in the Super Bowl era to be fired in the middle of a season in back-to-back years. Whew, that's tough. And I'll tell you what, it's not his fault what's going on with the Carolina Panthers right now. To be honest with you, it's not going to be Chris Tabor's fault either. The new head coach, interim head coach in the meantime, it won't be his fault. But somebody had to pay the price. And, well, David Tepper decided it was Frank Reich who was going to pay the price. Can't blame it on Bryce Young. Can't cause him to pay the price. You're paying that man a lot of money. But Frank Reich, he's going to be making like $2,500 a second for the next 3 years or something crazy like that. I maybe a minute. I don't remember what the stat was, but it's ridiculous. He's going to be getting paid by the Panthers for the next 4 years, I believe it is, 3 or 4 years. So what, are we paying 3 former quarterbacks, 2 former coaches? Who else do we want to pay who's not on the team anymore, you know? All right, I'm getting sidetracked here. So David Tepper, he talked about improvements that they've made, not on the field, in football operations. Things like a better weight room, more engagement with former players, the team dining room. He said it's the little things that don't show up in the standings that they've been improving on. To that I say, cool. Good for you. Where are the results? Because last time I checked, Charlotte FC uses that same facility, and they weren't too good this year either. So where are the results? So David Tepper, he promised that he's going to make things better. He said he's not promising it'll be better tomorrow, but it may get better. One of the funniest, I listened to this whole press conference, and I was going to cut up some sound to play on the show, but it was just nothing of some significance at all. And the funniest thing, though, is he says, my reputation away from this game is one of extreme patience. There's no reason why it doesn't come here, too. Patience comes with good performance and things you want to see progress being made on different aspects. Huh? Patience? Where is the patience? You fired back-to-back coaches in the middle of the year. Doesn't sound patient to me. And maybe they weren't the right guys for the job. It is very well possible that we don't know something. Very possible. But did you have to do it in the middle of the season 2 years in a row? What was the benefit of doing it now? I get the whole, they get a head start on looking for a new head coach for next year. Well, not really. They can't start interviewing anybody yet. Everybody has, Black Monday in the NFL when all the head coaches get fired. And then we'll hear about interviews. So what did this accomplish? Nothing. And I talked about it yesterday. The only thing that this accomplished is scaring away potential free agents, potential coaches, and the fans. The fans do not care about the training facility. I can promise you that the weight room, they don't care. What they do care about is the fact that when they look at the standings, the Carolina Panthers have 1 win on the year. They hold the position for the number 1 overall pick, but their draft pick for the first round belongs to the Chicago Bears. That is what the fans notice. So I don't know if it's just delusional speak or if he's just trying to say the right things, but we're going in on 5 years now of the Tepper ownership? Hasn't been great. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. I know that's hard to think. Now, maybe the result on the field won't be as miserable, but we're going to go through some growing pains here. And those growing pains might take us out of Bryce Young's rookie contract. We might not have him on the team by the time the issues are fixed in Carolina, especially if they keep Brian Burns. Now, I still wonder what the deal is going to be for Scott Fitterer, the Carolina Panther GM. If it were me, full clean house. Just get rid of them all, bring some new people in. But how do you fire the head coach in the middle of the season, but you leave the GM? Trade deadline's over. Who cares what the GM's doing? If you want to sign someone to an extension, do it yourself. If you want to trade it, do it yourself, Tepper. We already know you like to have your hands in the pot, so just fire everybody at the same time and start fresh. Why the slow burn here? I'm just questioning. I don't have the answers. I'm just asking the questions. And he was asked about how he thought that firing a coach in the middle of the season back-to-back years might affect potential free agents and potential coaches who would want to come here. And he seemed unfazed. He said, oh, yeah, that's a fair point. And then he talked around the point the entire time. The Panthers just make me sigh. Like, there's nothing else you can do. It's just sit back, watch, and laugh. And I saw a report where Greg Olson said that if Tepper approached him to be the head coach, he'd be more than happy to. All right, the last time a former player skipped the line to be the head coach of a football team, it didn't go well. I'm looking at you, Jeff Saturday, for the Colts. It didn't go well. And now all of a sudden, Greg Olson wants to skip the line and be the head. He's an analyst for Fox. Get out of here. Get a real, go through the coaching carousel. Maybe become a coordinator first. A special teams coach first. Something. It would be a bad decision. And I know it would be a crowd favorite. People would love it. The fans would love if Greg Olson was the head coach. But I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I really hope that the organization is smarter than that. Although over the past 5 years, I can't say that I have high hopes for the smartness of the people driving the ship here. So we'll see what happens to the Panthers. Their schedule coming up, it's not the best. 4 o'clock on Sunday, they play the Buccaneers on the road. And then they play the Saints on the road before they come home for 2 games and end the season in Jacksonville on New Year's Eve. What are you going to do? I'm sorry, they end the season January 7th at home against the Buccaneers. Missed that one. 1 win. We're staring 1 win in the face. And the Bears, they'll probably have a franchise quarterback to build around. Not that I have faith in the Bears to do anything with that. You know, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. Like, what? How? How have you never had a 4,000-yard passer? Anyway, we're getting way off target here. Other NFL news going on right now. Big one, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor is going to undergo thumb surgery. He's probably going to miss multiple weeks. And no word on whether or not he's going to be on the injured reserve list because, you know, if you go on IR, you must miss 4 games before you can possibly come back. And coming up this weekend, we can talk about people clinching the playoffs. Uh-oh, we're getting close. Yeah, it's the end of November. We're close to playoffs. There's not many games left. The Eagles have the chance to become the first team to clinch a playoff berth this weekend. So we'll see what happens with that one. The schedule for this weekend, it's okay. You know, it's not the most amazing thing in the world, but the Eagles play the 49ers, which NFC Championship rematch with a healthy Brock Purdy. That'd be nice. But we'll see how that one goes. When we come back, we're going to talk about those NBA scenarios because we have in-season tournament games today. I know everybody's so excited for the in-season tournament. I am too. I can't wait. We'll have that for you on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head through the rest of the evening, we will have clear skies. That overnight low is going to be freezing tonight. We will be down around 18 degrees. Heading into Wednesday, we'll have sunny skies and a high temperature getting up near 46 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
This is Todd Starnes. WSIC is your source for local and national election coverage. Listen for WSIC's local shows for all things concerning area elections and join me for national election coverage weekdays noon to 3 on WSIC.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 866-451-3328. 866-451-3328. That's 866-451-3328.
Conversations that matter.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to even think about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
A new coach is introduced and David Tepper addresses the media. Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
Every week, I watch these games, and I've watched, been around football for a long time. Once upon a time, I was just a fan, poor kid in Pittsburgh, that's what I was. So I know what it is to be a fan, and every day, every week we come in, it's part of us are fans. Okay, Nicole and I sit in that box, and we live and die with every play. So I understand how the fans, and I understand their frustration, and I appreciate that. I can just say this, we will make it better.
That's Panthers owner David Tepper, and in his press conference Tuesday, he made it clear he'd love to have a head coach who can be here for the long haul. But at least for the near term, the next 6 games, it'll be Chris Tabor.
These are tough times, and because you're talking about relationships, and that's what coaching is. You have relationships with players, you have relationships with other coaches. The NFL, it's also a business, and I'm very grateful and thankful for Coach Wright keeping me around last year when he first got here. And at the same time, I'm thankful for Mr. Tepper having confidence in me to have this opportunity to lead the team these next 6 games.
Tabor wears the interim head coach tag. He had been the special teams coordinator under Frank Reich and was one of the holdovers from the Matt Rule era. His first game as Panthers head coach is Sunday in Tampa. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update, brought to you by Morris Jenkins.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's The Scoreboard on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We are back. Segment number 3. You're listening to The Scoreboard on WSIC. Hey, that kind of rhymed. That was pretty nice. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number if you have a question, a comment, a concern, something on your mind. Do you need to rant? I do a lot of that every day. About the Panthers, about the NCAA. Boy, tomorrow I'm sure we're going to have fun talking about the college football playoff rankings. That's going to be a good one. Couple of things on the Panthers before we move on. Interim head coach Chris Tabor has begun adjusting his coaching staff. Assistant head coach and running back coach Deuce Staley and quarterback coach Josh McCown will not remain with the team. They have been let go by Chris Tabor, and I guess he's kind of starting to shape his staff. I don't know why you would do this. You got 6 games, and probably not going to be the head coach next year, so just, rock with it. But who am I to say? I don't know. I don't know any better. Also, Julius Peppers and Steve Smith Sr. are semifinalists for the Hall of Fame list. So pretty great achievement for those guys there. We'll see what happens. There's a maximum of 5 that'll be enshrined this year. So we'll see. We got a long time before we have to worry about that, but I thought that would be a neat little update. Julius Peppers and Steve Smith Sr., they are semifinalists for the Hall of Fame this year. Okay, let's do this. Let's somehow gather around the campfire and talk about the in-season tournament for the NBA. There are a lot of clinching scenarios in the East. The West isn't as crazy, but the East, Atlanta, Boston, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Cleveland, Miami, Milwaukee, New York, Orlando, and Philadelphia all still have a chance to make the wild card. Now, some of those teams, it's a lot less likely than others, like our beloved Charlotte Hornets. Here is how they stack up right now. They are 12th in the East in the in-season tournament, but they are not technically eliminated because they can go 2-2. So can a lot of other teams. So here is the scenario. Charlotte clinches a wild card because they cannot win their group if the following occurs. Charlotte victory, Cleveland loss, Miami loss, Boston loss, Brooklyn loss. Charlotte finishes second place in their group and wins the tiebreaker over any other second place team from another group. All that to say, they're out. Just not mathematically. Oh, man, excuse me. All right, so tiebreakers for the in-season tournament are as followed, and we really only have to worry about 2 of them. Head-to-head, which doesn't matter in wild card play, and then point differential. Let's say, just for the fun of it, that Charlotte gets lucky and they win, and Cleveland, Miami, Boston, and Brooklyn all lose. Their point differential in the tournament is -30. The New York Knicks, the 4th seed right now, the number 1 wild card team, the only wild card team in the East, might I say, +18. So somehow Charlotte would have to outscore their opponent by 50. 50. And the Knicks have to lose. The Heat have to lose. Everybody has to lose. It's not happening. I hate to break it to you. And I got an even better reason why it's not going to happen, because as of, well, about an hour ago, I had this come across from Shams Charania. Charlotte Hornets star LaMelo Ball has suffered a serious sprain in his right ankle and is likely to miss extended time. Tests show that Ball avoided a fracture in the ankle, which required surgery last season, and a cautious approach is expected. This is a man who signed a max contract in the offseason when he wasn't healthy, and now he's currently not healthy yet again. Right ankle injury again, and we'll see what happens with this one. I would expect the cautious approach because, you know, the in-season tournament, as much as the NBA is trying, and I applaud them for that, this isn't it. This is not what's going to drum up interest in the NBA, and the teams know that, which is why I don't really. Have you heard anybody clamoring about, yeah, we just want to win this in-season tournament? No. They want to get through the regular season, get to the playoffs. That's the name of the game in the NBA. Nobody really misses it. 5 teams, that's it. 5 teams from each conference miss the playoffs. A third of the league misses the playoffs. 2/3 of the league goes to the playoffs. Not a good system, in my opinion. But I digress. I don't believe that the Hornets are going to get this done. And I don't know if they're going to turn anything around anytime soon. It's been an abysmal season. It's been an abysmal run, to be honest with you. 5-10 right now. They are the 12 seed in the East. They are only a couple of games out of that 10 seed. Remember, the 10 seed is the final seed that goes into the play-in tournament, if you will. So, you know, they're there, but they're still out. They're still a few games back. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look promising. And now their star player, LaMelo Ball, oh gosh. Every time I say LaMelo Ball and star player, like, what? It doesn't feel real. Well, now he's injured, and the Hornets have nothing to hang their hat on. I don't know where they go from here. They just got to struggle through another season. Maybe they get on a run in the middle of the season and they try to fight for the play-in spot. But has the history of this team given us any kind of hope? Not me. But we'll see what happens with that. We're coming up on our third break of the day here. We have one more segment after that. I want to talk about what's going on with the Chicago Blackhawks, because there was an interesting situation and we don't really know exactly what's going on. Also, Bobby Petrino is on the move, it looks like. He's going to be heading to Arkansas to be their next offensive coordinator. He was the A&M offensive coordinator this year. Now he's on the move to Arkansas. They had a pretty tough year there, going ugly 4-win season. 4-8, 1-7 in the conference. So looking to turn things around. That's really the first coaching move so far in college football. There's going to be more. There always is. And who knows? Maybe Frank Reich goes to college and joins Matt Rule or something. Yeah, you never know. It's a crazy world. All right, one more segment to go here on the scoreboard. When we're back, we will touch on the NHL, and we'll put a pretty little bow on our day and send you off into the night. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. One more segment to go here on the scoreboard, WSIC. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The Docksiders, performing at Kane Center for the Arts on Saturday, December 9th, are almost sold out. The Docksiders will take you back to the year 1981. Their unique and electric tribute act of yacht rock features songs from Hall & Oates, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and more. The Docksiders, Saturday, December 9th at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Community singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius. Each evening at a different church. Community Singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The Community Singers of Lake Norman, lakenormansings.com. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Enjoy some time with Santa and the Winter Wonderland experience, a classic Christmas in Mooresville, Friday, December 8th. For more info, visit mooresvillenc150.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head through the rest of the evening, we will have clear skies. That overnight low is going to be freezing tonight. We will be down around 18 degrees. Heading into Wednesday, we'll have sunny skies and a high temperature getting up near 46 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Fall is here, and Lil Shavers has the supplies you need. Wheat straw, pine needle, grass seed, pelletized line, landscape edging, and railroad cross ties. Got a deck that needs staining? Lil Shavers has PPG paints and stains at prices you can afford. Fall is a great time to replace your furnace filters at Lil Shavers. Get the products you need at reasonable prices from Lil Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Road in Statesville.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And final segment left to go here. You're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Oh man, it's been a day. I was up early today. If you listen to the station a lot, you know that today at 6 a.m. is our Salt and Light from Pastor Randy Mitchell with Temple Baptist Church. Well, normally they pre-record their show, but today they were here in studio live at 6 a.m. I'm a little tired. I've been here a while. So we're going to fight this sleepiness that's starting to creep up on me. And we're going to finish this show strong because that's what the people deserve. Ugh! Moving on. Let's talk hockey. We haven't talked hockey in a while, and I personally love hockey. Okay, this was a interesting story that broke over the last few days. Future probable Hall of Famer Corey Perry has been placed on unconditional waivers for the purpose of termination of contract for what has been described as unacceptable conduct. Ironic coming from the Blackhawks. Oh my goodness. So following an internal investigation, and we all know how well those work, the Chicago Blackhawks said Tuesday they have placed veteran winger Corey Perry on those waivers. He took a leave of absence, but the Blackhawks issued a statement alleging that Perry engaged in conduct described as unacceptable and that it was in violation of both the terms of his contract and the team's internal policies that are intended to promote professional and safe work environments. Hold all speculation, please. If you're younger and you go on social media and you see Corey Perry trending, just proceed with caution. There's no news on why this is happening. Eventually, I'm assuming it'll come out, but we are not going to take guesses here as to what's going on. We are going to wait for some solid reporting on this. And as of right now, all we know is that there was some conduct detrimental to the Blackhawks organization that he has been placed on waivers for the purpose of termination of his contract. We'll probably have more on this because, I mean, Corey Perry's not a terrible player yet. He's old. He's up there in age, but veteran leader, I guess he's not. Ooh, that's where it gets a little weird. Can you call him a leader anymore if he got cut for conduct detrimental to the team? You know, we're not going to go down that path. Other news in the NHL, free agent 9-time All-Star Patrick Kane is going to be signing with... No, unfortunately, he's not coming to Carolina. He is going to the Detroit Red Wings on a 1-year contract. He had that hip restructuring surgery over the offseason. It was a 6-month recovery. And some of the teams that were on his list were the Sabres, the Panthers, the Stars, the Maple Leafs, the Bruins, and the team that he most recently had played for, the New York Hockey Rangers. But at the end of the day, he ends up in Detroit. And if you know anything about GMs in the NHL and who's running what team, Stevie Y, he does it yet again. Steve Yzerman built the Tampa Bay team that we see now before he decided to go back to Detroit. And he left a little early because they turned into a dynasty. But he did build that team, the majority of that team. Now he's in Detroit. They've been pretty bad for the past few years, but they're starting to turn it around. They're in third right now in the Atlantic, and they get an all-star player. He's 35 years old, so we got to at least, say he's not what he used to be. A 1-year contract for $2 million pretty much shows you exactly the potential that they think Kane has. But we'll see. It's an interesting signing. That is for sure. All right. Some hockey games tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes are on the road. This game is going to be broadcast on ESPN Plus and Hulu. So if you have Hulu Live Sports, you will be able to see this. Or if you're subscribed to ESPN Plus, you'll also be able to see it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on Bally Sports Southeast. And those are the only two ways you'll be able to see it. They take on the Philadelphia Flyers on the road. And you know what? The Flyers, slightly surprising this year. They're currently third in the Metro, but the Hurricanes are on a roll here. They're looking good in their last few games. They are back up to second in the Metro. They're still 7 points behind the top-seeded New York Rangers at this point, but Carolina making strides in the standings. Remember, it was a week ago we were talking about they were fourth in the standings. Now, here is your NHL stat of the day. Since the year 2000, roughly 80% of teams in the playoffs at the Thanksgiving break make the playoffs. I'm just going to let you sit with that one for a second, and I'm going to tell you that stat again. Since the year 2000 in the NHL, roughly 80% of teams in playoff position at the Thanksgiving break go on to make the playoffs. If you needed a more clear cut, it's more important to have a good start to the season. That is it right there. I mean, it's on a silver platter for you. Just pick it up, eat it, and understand the hot start is one of the most important things that you can do for your season. You don't want to be playing catch up. And that stat right there proves it, especially in hockey. And we talk about hockey being this sport where there's all this parity, like it's so random. You never know, puck luck and all that. And yet there's not much parity when it comes to the standings and how well you do out of the gates. Now, there's exceptions to the rule. That's why the other 20%, somebody goes on a run after Thanksgiving. You know, it's a team that's like 1 point out of the playoffs at Thanksgiving, and they end up going on a run and making the playoffs. But there's other cases where, you know, you have somebody 10 points out, 15 points out at New Year's who goes on a roll and makes the playoffs. It happens. But you do want to put yourself in the position to make the playoffs. And the best way to do that is start strong. Look at this. The Vancouver Canucks were one of the worst teams in the league last year. They had a great start to their season. They're starting to slow down, playing .500 hockey in their last 5 games, but they're still third in the Pacific. They're still 8 points ahead of the 4th place team. Now, in hockey, if you're not aware, each division has the top 3 teams automatically go. And then the top 2 teams in the West, other than those division winners, get the wild cards. So you want to be top 3 to just kind of clinch your way in and say, okay, we're in the playoffs. We don't have to worry about a wild card. They have a 7-point advantage on an 8-point advantage on the 4th place team right now. And the Canucks were bad last year. They were terrible. They get off to a hot start. They start to cool off a little playing .500 hockey in their last 10 games. But they still had such a good start that here they are. They're here. They're a good team. They're in playoff position. It's gonna take a run from one of these other teams to knock them out. And that's where we want the Carolina Hurricanes to get. I don't know if it's possible in the Metro to pull away, although we are seeing the New York Rangers attempt to pull away as they have 31 points and the 2 seed has 24. But behind Carolina, the Flyers have 23. The Capitals and the Islanders have 22. Penguins have 20. The Devils have 19. And Columbus has 18. That's 6 points separating 2 through 7. Whereas the Rangers are 7 points ahead. It's going to be a dogfight in the Metro. And I told you this in the preseason for hockey. Look out. The Metro's going to be tough. It is going to be paramount that you get off to a good start. And here we are. 20 games into the year. We're almost a quarter of the way done with the NHL season already. It just started. We're a quarter of the way done. And the Hurricanes have themselves in a playoff spot. They're looking good. And you know what? Hopefully the goaltending gets better because what they have right now, not the best, but the team is good enough at least to make up for that. But you don't want that in the playoffs. And I'm going to harp on that. Oh, I don't want to get worked up before I head out for the day. We are done with the show today. Tomorrow, we'll talk about other things. College football playoff rankings are probably coming out in the next 10 minutes. Be aware. Florida State's going to get dropped another spot. Oregon's going to jump them. And Ohio State is going to slide out of the top 4. We're going to have Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Oregon as your top 4. I'm calling it right now. We'll talk about it tomorrow, right here, same time, same place on the Scoreboard. Thanks for tuning in as always. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.